Hey everyone, welcome. Good evening. Coming in. We got a lot of breaking news, folks. Major breaking news coming your way. So slam those hearts. Hey Patty. And let's get as many people in here. Bernie, Kathy, good evening. It's been Dr. Martha Bean, good evening, Mary. Very long couple of long week and a half. I feel like excuse me, I feel like I haven't slept in God knows when, since I feel like I'm still traveling from Washington, D.C. A lot of important and breaking news that I have to share with you. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but let's give it a little bit more time. Let's more people join, because I have some important stuff I want to share with you. Extremely. We also are going to have Zev Shalev join us today. He just broke some incredible news that we're going to talk about, because Howard Lutnick, that's right, the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, is in the news again, folks, and not in the news, the media, but independent journalists have uncovered that Howard Lutnick there's two FBI cases that were opened up about Howard Lutnick. One was a money laundering case that we're going to talk about, and one, you'll never believe this, folks, it was a case that had to do with Epstein, child trafficking or something like that. So we're going to wait till Zev's going to join us in about 15, 20 minutes. Wajahat Ali is probably going to join us. He's right now taking care of the kiddos. And if he has some time, he's going to jump in, discuss it. But I have some more incredible news for you that you're not going to believe. So earlier today, while I was going into speaking to a lot of my sources and a lot of things going on. One of my sources told me something about, he said, hey, look into Alexander Smirnov. And I said to myself, why is he telling me to look into Alexander Smirnov? Now, for those of you that don't know who Alexander Smirnov is, Alexander Smirnov is the guy, the spy, basically, that pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI, was sentenced to 6 years in jail. Not the vodka Smirnov, no, guys, not the vodka, but Alexander Smirnov. He was the guy that started the Biden impeachment. If you remember, he was an FBI informant, and then he lied to his FBI handler and said that he heard that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe. Do you remember that? Oh, Wajid is here. Let me invite him up. Remember that? So let's get Waj up here. So that was a very important time, because this informant, if you guys remember, this informant happened to have been working with the Republicans. He was working with the Republicans. There he is. There's my man. They're relentless. I knew he was going to join that. I texted him. I said, "Watch." He goes, "I'm with the kiddos. Let me do my best." I was like, "He's going to join."
There's my kids are off, so all their friends are over. So there's like 7 kids. So pardon me that I'm like this, I look like this, but thanks for inviting. You said you had news, and then Zev apparently is going to join also.
Yeah, Zev's gonna join us. We got a lot of breaking news. And I can't wait to tell you. You're gonna flip out about this one. But before we go, I'm glad Waj is here with me, because I want to say something to everybody out there that's very, very, very important before we start. A lot in the past month has been going on with this Michael Cohen thing. It needs to stop. And I'm going to make it clear, because the rhetoric is getting out of control, and this is not about that. You know, I'm saying to you, people go. We have bots now from both sides attacking everybody. We have the Republicans have entered into the fray that I'm hearing, that are now, sending into our chats to attack, to antagonize, to start dividing, split the community. Not only that, but it's getting the accusations are getting so bad that it's getting dangerous. And with the political climate out there, I do not condone it. I know Waj doesn't condone it, and I'm sure Michael doesn't condone it. So I want to put it out there. I want to make sure that this stops today. First of all, neither Waj nor myself nor Ellie or nobody has ever called Michael Cohen a pedophile. I want to make that very clear. Very clear. I want to make it clear, because people are walking around. These are very serious accusations that nobody's ever made. Because, and Michael does does not deserve that. So I am telling you right now, nobody has accused Michael Cohen of doing anything illegal. So everybody needs to stop and going. And I appreciate for some that think that they're fighting because they're protecting us. And this is not a war. We're trying to get to the truth out. So we don't want people going in each other's chats, disrupting and fighting and doing it. The only thing we've ever wanted from Michael Cohen, and that's very important for you to know, because Waj, I don't know if you know, me and Joy Reed did a breaking live today for 15 minutes. Because
I
what
saw it, but I haven't seen it. I saw it show up in my feed. How'd that go?
Yeah, so let me tell you what happened. So you guys, because we'll give a little time until Zev comes in, but it's very important. And the reason we did, because we're trying to unite this community. We're not trying to divide it. We're not trying to cause more arguments. Michael Cohen was in the news. He was in the Epstein files. When he was in the news, we reported on it. We asked him questions, just like we would do of anyone else, like we did with Michael Wolff, like we did. The news went. We are moving on. We do not. There's no need to continue to continue. We're not trying to cancel Michael Cohen. We're not trying to. If there's people that want to listen to Michael Cohen, we live in a country innocent until proven guilty. So Michael Cohen is not guilty of proving it. The only thing Michael Cohen is guilty of is avoiding speaking to us and answering questions. So that's not a crime, folks. For whatever reason, yes, do we want him to answer questions? Do we feel he has more that he could help us with? 100%. We are not. We're not going to apologize for asking questions. We're not going to. That's not going to happen. And we're not. But we're not. There's no accusations. I want that to stop. I want everybody to, because a lot of you guys follow all over, and it's becoming crazy. This is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to justice for the survivors. We're trying to get truth and accountability. But we're not trying to go out here and cancel people, get into wars. There'll come a time if Michael Cohen all of a sudden gets in the news again, if he's again either in the Epstein files, or if all of a sudden there's a court hearing and he appears, or if he comes out and writes some kind of Substack letter again that needs to be reported on, we will talk about it. We will report on it. But we're not going to spend every day responding back and forth, because that's what the bots, that's what the people, that's what our enemies want to do. So unless you want to add something to that, Wash, but I want to make it
Yeah,
clear
yeah.
because
So
I want to tone the rhetoric down. Absolutely. Go ahead,
as
Wash.
I've said before, and I'll say again, I try to be consistent. I have no personal beef against this guy. He invited me on his podcast for the first and only time over a year ago, right when Trump was elected, actually the day after the election. So I said, sure, why not? I'll go on. And he seemed really worried. And if you go back and see our conversation, I think when he was on Midas Touch, I think you could find it on YouTube. I spent half the hour kind of like being his therapist and calming him down. Because I think he was really scared. He's like, man, this guy's back, and retribution. He knows how MAGA is. All right, that's it. That is my only interaction with Michael Cohen. The only other time was in that fateful panel when
Right.
Zev invited me. It was like
Yep.
a rolling,
Yeah.
history of guests. I came on, Lev came on, then after me, I think it was Ellie, and then Michael was there. I'm like, fine. And apparently, right after I left, Zev asked a really kind of benign question about Epstein, and he flipped out. And he's also flipped out on Tara Palmieri. He's also flipped out on Lev. He's also flipped out on apparently on Jill Walsh. He's also flipped out or kind of was
Jojo.
evasive with Jim Acosta. And then Ellie's subscribers found this
Yeah.
Rule 35 consideration, which is all if you don't know, is when if you are convicted and serving time, your attorneys then go to the government and say, my client has information that can help you to the point where I believe it is such material evidence that he should get, or he or she should get, like a quid pro quo reduction in sentence. That Rule 35 consideration is based on the Epstein files, or rather, between Trump and Epstein. He goes, I got some information. So literally, and I just want to be clear for all the Cohen fans and even Cohen
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
I've literally always said, listen, an attorney, by the way, folks, I'm not practicing. I'm still licensed, but I did practice for back in the day. An attorney just doesn't on their own sit there on a Saturday and say, you know what? I'm going to help my client. I'm just going to go ahead and just Hail Mary this rule. You can't do it. You'll get like disbarred. All right. That means your client approaches you and says, I have this information. Then, you consult, and then the attorney then goes to the Southern District of New York right now. So all of us have literally just asked the same question. It's still now. I'm going to put it out there for Michael Cohen. Yo, why did your attorney send the Rule 35? It very well could be, Lev. Listen, let me give him the benefit of the doubt. I was desperate. I was in prison. I thought everyone wanted to hear something, and honestly, I had nothing. I just heard Donald Trump say something. All right, fine, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, fine.
Absolutely.
But the
I was gonna
fact that
bullshit them. I was gonna bullshit them. I
yeah,
was gonna do whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. I'm
fine.
with you.
Prison sucks. You've been to
I'm
prison.
with
I
you.
know it's
I
terrible.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
So, but like the fact that he melts down and he
Yeah.
accuses people and he just becomes
It's not
belligerent to
good.
people who are nice to him. And then, he gets caught in this entire web and he remembers certain things. He doesn't remember everything. And then the final thing I'll say, full disclosure, the second thing I want to ask him, he on his Substack, I didn't write it, Lev didn't write it, Ellie didn't write it, Zev didn't write it. He wrote it 3.5 weeks
Yep.
ago.
Yep.
He wrote that Alvin Bragg and Letitia James coerced him in his testimony.
Yep.
That's pretty big news. Really?
Huge
Nine
news.
years 9 years later, all of a sudden you remember okay, my follow-up very calmly. What did they coerce you into saying? How did they coerce you? What did you say? Were you under oath? And then you see him kind of go on Patrick Bet-David's show and then write that Substack. So, folks,
Yep.
listen. Yeah, I'm also not, that's why I ignore most of it, Lev. I know you and him have
Yeah.
gone into it and goes back and forth.
I've
But
been just trying to really get him. I tell you honestly, I was not trying to get back and forth. It just turned into that, and that's why I'm trying to. I want to tone the line because what I really was trying to do was I wanted to get him on the live, because he keeps telling me, texting me, and persisting even till this day to call him that he wants to talk to me offline. Now I want to be very clear. The only reason I don't want to talk to him offline is because I don't trust him. It's not because I don't want to go get in a conversation and then have him go on and say, "Oh, he said this, she said this." I don't want a he said, she said. This is very important. This is extremely out there. And that's why I said, I don't mind having any conversation you want to have, but let's do it on Substack. This is where our community, this is where the people, let's go live. And you could ask me anything. And I promise, I said, that's why I said Joy could mediate, whoever you want, we could meet. I mean, I don't even know what we need to mediate. I have nothing to argue with you about. We have some questions to ask,
that's literally that's it.
answer
Literally,
the way you want to answer them and move on. Let's move on with this. This
that's
is not
folks. So that's it.
exactly. That's exactly it.
All the Cohen stands and everyone else. I'm telling you again. I have no personal. I got 800 kids. Lev has 1,000.
Exactly.
We don't have time for this.
We have such important information to
Like
talk about. That's what I'm
I
saying to you.
literally, when it comes to Epstein, we've been saying it since. I mean, in fact, that's how Lev and I connected. Because Lev
Yeah.
used to. Someone emailed me like, "How'd you?" So Lev, I used to do these lives, and Lev used to pop up in these lives, and I'm like, "Is that Lev Parnas?" Wow, that's interesting. And then he used to watch and comment. I'm like, interesting. And then he kept saying, "I have information. I have information." I remember one time in the summer, I said,
Yeah.
"Lev, let's just connect." So we connected back on through Substack channel. Actually, I didn't even have his email,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
And we started talking about the Epstein files.
Epstein files, July. It was in July. That's right.
And right, and we're
after.
talking about, listen, it's a cover-up. Dan Bongino, listen,
That's right.
JD Vance is gonna meet with Pam Bondi, and then
That's right. That's
the
right.
news broke that they wanna meet, and because the news broke, they didn't meet, but then they did meet. And what we've been saying, and we're still saying, is that the biggest club that we have to take down not just the Trump administration, but now it seems like this international cabal of perverts, billionaires, and the 1% is the Epstein files. So we've kept saying, stick with the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Notice, folks, we talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about Ukraine, Russia, Gaza, the economy. We talk about ICE. Okay, we have to juggle a lot of balls, but still, the Epstein files
Yeah.
is the biggest club that we've saying that this has been a cover up since last year. They've been covering it up. Pam Bondi's been covering it up. Bongino's been covering it up. Cash Patel's been covering it up. They're now openly covering it up. And now you've seen, Lev, finally, a few heads finally have started rolling
Starting
today.
to roll. Yeah. Yeah.
And did you hear just, I think, an hour ago, Reuters, this is from 59 minutes ago. New Mexico lawmakers on Monday passed legislation to launch what they said was the first full investigation into what happened at Zoro Ranch,
There
where
we
the
go.
late Epstein is accused of trafficking and sexually assaulting girls and women. And there
I
might be
want
bodies on that ranch.
I
There might
want to I want to congratulate this community. I want to congratulate Ellie and Zev for putting together, because This is happening because, well, when I was in Congress, I don't know if you know even Wash, they handed me a full package about Zoro Ranch. When I was in D.C. and I went out there and met with Crockett and I met with Raskin and I met with the lawyers for the general counsel for the House Intelligence Committee, and we discussed strictly about Zoro Ranch and how it's not on the site. And I think this is starting. The movements we're starting to see is because of things that we're pushing out there because nobody else was talking about this. They have uncovered it. Waj, us, we've been talking about it. We passed it on to Congress. This is incredible news because finally we're starting to see action. This is great. This just came out, right?
Yep,
Uh,
just an hour ago. Just an hour ago, pardon me. Reuters, New Mexico
wow,
approves comprehensive probe of Epstein's Zoro Ranch. The so-called Truth Commission seeks to identify ranch guests and state officials who may have known what was going on in the
wow,
7,600-acre property. Bipartisan committee to investigate Epstein's activities. Epstein chartered flight for New Mexico gubernatorial candidate Gary King in 2014. Investment consultant says he met with MIT, Harvard professors at the ranch. And I've been doing tomorrow I'm going to have two more guests. But folks, check out the Edge Foundation, EDGE, the Edge Foundation, which is a massive link between Jeffrey Epstein and all these Harvard, MIT scientists. And see, these are the scummiest people. I'm so glad they're being exposed. These people who are into race science and anti-woman and anti-diversity and anti-black, right? The fact that some of those people might have come to that ranch, oh,
wow. This is I'm telling you, this is gonna blow up in their face. And today, Zev he's gonna join us soon. He has some incredible breaking news also that about having to do with Howard Lutnick. But before we go to that, I have some really interesting news that has nothing to do with Epstein, has nothing to do, but does have to do with Trump and some stuff that I spoke to my sources, and this is getting crazier by the moment, folks. Okay, so I'm going to ask you if you remember a name by name of Alexander Smirnov. Do you remember that name, Wash?
no.
Let me remind you. Do you remember there was a FBI informant that and turned out to be a spy that ended up being charged by the Republicans for spreading lies about the Bidens that they took a bribe of $5 million, and then they convicted the Republicans then convicted their own guy
Yes.
that they so to cover up the impeachment so he doesn't go speak. Well, let me tell you some stuff a little bit. A lot of people don't know, but I was involved with speaking with Alexander Smirnov's legal team on behalf of the Biden team. I
Interesting.
met. There's so much to this year. This gets so much. Wait till you hear this one. So in all the conversations, I met with his family, his cousin, and we were discussing for him because he was saying to me through his cousin, through his lawyers, that he is being set up by certain high power FBI agents. And at that time, we were working, and you remember Abby Lowe, some very most powerful lawyers. We were all involved trying to get Smirnov while he was in prison, waiting to testify or waiting for the trial, to come out and say what was he worried about, what were they lying about, what was going on. Well, all of a sudden, one day, I get a call from Smirnov's lawyer. I'm in the middle of this transaction, and telling me because he goes, I know Abby very well. I don't need you to be involved in the conversation. Reach out to Abby if I need to, and blah 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 blah. And anyway, we're not going to speak on this behalf. All of a sudden, a few days later, Smirnov gets a deal. He takes a deal, 6 years in prison. I call his cousin. She was crying. She's like, "Love, I don't know. It's ba 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 ba." Long story short, time goes by. This has been a year ago. This is right when Trump got inaugurated. If you remember, this was when Biden was impeached. So I get a call earlier today from one of my sources in the Trump house. Says Trump's about to pardon somebody. You're gonna flip the f out. He goes, you can't believe this one. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you're going to call Hunter Biden after this one. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, the guy that started the impeachment, remember Alexander Smirnov? Trump's going to pardon him. So Trump's going to pardon Smirnov. He's sitting in prison. I go, what prison is he in? He goes, I don't think he's in prison, Lev. He goes, that's all I could
Whoa.
tell you. And hey, watch this. He goes, that's all I could tell you. Hangs up the phone. So now I'm curious, right? So I call Abby's, so I call lawyers. I'm trying to find out like what's going on. And this is what I hear. So I get an article sent to me, very important, by a good friend, Roger Sellenberger. Rogers, the same one that broke that story yesterday about the file. So Roger sends me this. FBI informant who lied about the Bidens covertly released from jail. And I want to take 2 minutes and read this article to you folks because it's important just for you to give you a little understanding what's happening. So for those of you that
Can I just say Roger's going to be on the Left Hook tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Oh, beautiful. Actually, right. So maybe I'll join you guys and I'll be
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So
Because
Roger's
Roger
gonna
was
talk
supposed
about
to be with me. Perfect. I'll join you
Roger's
guys.
going to talk about his reporting and then jump in.
Yes. Perfect. Yes. Excellent. So we don't have, that's perfect. Anyway, Alexander Smirnov, the ex-FBI informant who admitted to lying about the Biden-Burisma connection, has been released from prison just months into his 6-year prison sentence. In a plea deal in December of 2024, Smirnov admitted to completely fabricating the conspiracy that became central to a Republican effort to impeach then President Joe Biden. Days later, the Russian asset, Smirnov, pleaded guilty to 4 felony charges, including 1 count of obstruction, and was sentenced to 6 years in prison, folks. Here it gets interesting. But the U.S. Israeli citizen has been missing for at least 4 months, folks. He's missing. Think about this.
Where is he?
Well, I'm going to continue this. Listen, I knew you were going to ask me that. But he's missing from the low security Los Angeles prison that he was relegated to. According to investigative reporter Jacqueline Sweet, Smirnov is still listed as a prisoner at FCI Terminal Island, Los Angeles. So that means that he's listed as a prisoner there in the federal facility, where his anticipated release date, right? If you look at this, if you type it in, it says release date February 2029, according to the Bureau of Prisons. But a process server responsible for handling details. So listen how they get caught. So somebody sued Smirnov, and a process server had to go to the prison so to serve him with the paperwork. So like literally, like just like anywhere else. But when a process server responsible for handling of details of a civil lawsuit to Smirnov was unable to find him at the facility, an employee at the facility confirmed to the process server that while Smirnov is, quote, affiliated with the facility, unquote, he was, quote, not currently housed there, reported Sweet Friday. It gets even more interesting.
Wait. Who reported this?
This is the newrepublic.com.
Amazing. Amazing.
Let me continue. I was advised to call back in approximately 15 days, as Smirnov may or may not return to the facility by that time. They don't even know where he is. Will he be back to the facility? Well, call back in 15 days. We'll let you know. Folks, you can't make this up. I'm reading it right on.
This was November 7th, right? November 7th.
Thank you. Yeah, because I got. He goes, read this. This is how I didn't even know this was. No, think about it. Nobody's reporting this. Watch. This came out November 7th by the New Republic. Nobody's. I wouldn't know about it. If I didn't get. If one of my sources didn't tell me that this guy's about to get pardoned, I would have had no idea that he's missing. But he's missing, folks. He's not. They didn't release him. The guy's missing. Let me continue. After months of failed attempts to find and locate Smirnov, so for months they've been going to the prison and they can't find Smirnov, the local sheriff's department managed to receive a clear response from the facility. Doesn't this remind you of the same thing we're getting from all of Trump's responses? ICE facilities, like, where is this? Where's Waldo? Oh, we're not going to tell you. And go see, we took it 4 months, right? So so it goes on that the sheriff's department confirmed that Mr. Smirnov has been furloughed, but no forwarding or new address has been provided. So I'm going to stop because the rest is just going. So let's understand that. So Mr. Smirnov, the spy, Russian spy that testified, that basically got convicted for spreading lies about the president of the United States and starting impeachment, convicted by Republicans. These were the Republicans that convicted him. Saying put him away. Now he is missing, folks. And the crazy part. This is how it gets issued. So after I get a call, why this gets issued? Because why is Roger? Because Roger is a reporter. So me and Roger were talking about it, and he just asked. He goes, by the way, he goes, what's it called? Do you know where Smirnov is? Because Roger knew, because off the record, Roger knew I was dealing with Smirnov. I go, what are you talking about? He goes to me, do you think he's still in the country, or do you think he's in Israel or back to Russia? I'm like,
Gosh.
what? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, he goes, you haven't seen it? And he sent me this. And this is how it all started. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. You can't believe this. Watch.
These two countries, Russia and Israel, are so intimately connected to not just
Wow.
the Trump administration, but also the Epstein files. And it's one of those situations where like the amount of goods that these two countries have on some of our, perhaps even our Trump administration, like the compromising information that they have, or the fact that, they're just so nakedly and shamelessly doing business, Kushner with Israel. You're seeing, of course, the white Christian nationalists like Mike Huckabee. You're seeing Epstein's connections. You see, of course, Putin. You see Donald Trump only promoting Putin's talking points for, I don't
Yeah.
know, a decade. You see the fact that Epstein and Donald Trump ride with Deutsche Bank. You see Deutsche Bank going to Russia. I mean, it seems to me, Lev, and you know this world better, that those two countries were like, you know what? These are idiots. These are patsies. These are clowns. Let's cultivate them as assets, both wittingly or unwittingly. Let's get them. Let's compromise them. And then we can run circles around pretty much everyone. Am I wrong here?
Yeah. No, and we would talk about the new axis of evil. And I say it's Netanyahu, it's what's his name, Putin, and it's actually Trump. It's them three that are with the axis. And I want to say it's not to blame any people. It's not. I don't
Not
blame the
against
Russian
Russians, not
people.
against Jews.
Jews, right? Not about Muslims, not about anybody. This is just like we as Americans think about how this is how think about how Jews are being felt because of their leader. Look at how Americans think how embarrassed our Americans are at the Olympics or all over. Not because of Americans. We are Americans are proud. We're proud. We love but because of our leader. We have a leader that's out there that's really wants to be a dictator, an autocrat. That's right there running around threatening people. Reacting. It's insane to watch this play out. But this, I think, just think about what bothers me about this is not the fact that he's planning to pardon him, even because I'll tell you honestly.
Pardon who? Pardon the invisible ghost? Where is he?
Now that we're gonna fight, believe me, because now we're gonna I'm gonna call Roger after we get off of this also and have a because Roger was with me on all of this. This is just breaking, folks. Even though, just think about this. Even though in November a prisoner disappeared. Think about not a regular prisoner, but a spy, a Russian spy convicted by a Republican a Republican DOJ, basically just disappeared for months and with no excuse. And now all of a sudden,
6-year prison sentence. I'm reading it. I'm just reading what you just read.
right?
And
Exactly.
the U.S. Israeli citizen has been missing for 4 months, and that was in November. So if you
Yes.
go back, so November,
So
October,
now it's over
summer.
6 months.
So this
Yeah.
is summer.
And nobody, and just think about it, nobody's talking
Finally.
about it. Nobody's talking about it. No, where's the media? Where's the outrage? Where's the, what I'm saying to you? And this is crazy.
And
This
he
is
was an ex-FBI informant who admitted to lying.
Well, because that's going to be in 5 minutes while we're take some time. Let me give you a little story about him because tomorrow I'll leave most of it for tomorrow. Okay, so folks, this is actually I'm going to do what's that called? Advertising for tomorrow's show, 1 o'clock. Make sure you watch the Left Hook because Waj is going to have Roger Sollenberger and I'm going to join. And not only is Roger going to talk about some stuff that he broke yesterday, but he's also going to talk about stuff that nobody's ever heard about, and I will be there with him to discuss discuss it about our dealings with this spy, Alexander Smirnov, who was after he got arrested, and how he was trying to make a deal with the Bidens, the Trumps, and everything that went on. We could discuss. Is going to be a conversation you don't want to miss.
And
But
can I just say what Roger's going to talk about tomorrow?
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
FBI did an interview with a victim who credibly accused Trump of sexual assault, undermining claims that Trump has not been accused of wrongdoing. That interview was conducted July 24th and entered into the FBI's case files on August 9th, the day before Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, just think about, folks. That's, I mean, and we spoke about a little bit yesterday, but that's some serious stuff. Between the fact that we're finding out what found yesterday, Roger found yesterday, the fact what Zev is finding today, the fact that we got Zoro Ranch on the map right now, the fact that all of a sudden they're releasing a spy that you can't. This is the Trump administration. Who is Roger? Roger Sullenberger, folks. I think Zev. Hold on, he's texting me.
I knew Roger when we were both at Daily Beast. I was a columnist. He was a reporter. And I think since then he's shifted to a Substack. So he's done a piece that came out, I think, 2 days ago. And he's been trying to tell people like, this is kind of big news. The too long can't read is FBI interviewed Trump accuser. Trump was credibly accused of sexual assault in the Epstein files. It's unclear what became of the DOJ's investigation. And he has the prominent names, which include Trump, Harvey Weinstein, Glenn Dubin, Prince Andrew, Jess Staley, Leon Black, Les Wexner, William Barr, Howard Lutnick, Bill Clinton, and Dershowitz. And those are the names, according to the FBI interview, of, I believe, Epstein's cellmate. And that was in the latest Epstein files. And if you look at some of that information there, I mean, who knows if it's real now, but that's an FBI interview. The cellmate says, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein talked to us about all these guys. And some of those claims are like, if you look at what he says about Harvey Weinstein, and then we find out what Harvey Weinstein, the MO, folks, that's what, Ellie keeps talking about this a lot. She goes, I've gone through all this stuff, and, we're trying to sift through what's real and what's not, what's speculation, what's allegation, right? But the MO is so remarkably consistent, Lev, that they're clearly,
Yeah.
and let me be very careful with my language. Clearly, one can speculate with much confidence that Donald Trump did terrible things to girls.
Well, 100%, and that's, I think, the biggest thing that everybody, I think, and that's why I keep talking about. I keep saying about, everybody keeps saying, okay, more files, more this. And when I was in DC, I'll be honest with you, one of the biggest things that I was saying to each and everybody congressperson I spoke to, I said, oh, enough is enough. Like, you guys have enough files. You have enough files to start subpoenaing. You have enough files to start moving. You have enough files to start doing. And each and every one of them basically said the same thing. Yeah, but we don't have the votes because of the Republicans. Because unfortunately, the Republicans who met with the survivors, and it was disgusting, folks, because they met with the survivors, they spoke to him behind doors, they listened to their stories, they promised them, they promised the survivors that they were going to ask tough questions, that they were not going to give Pam Bondi a pass. And that was the sickest, and that was the saddest part of all of it, is because, what's it called? They literally laid down and let her run wild. You know what I'm saying to you? So the fact that right now we are being able to help out, and being able as a community to be able to give them, the also interesting part was, I spoke to some Congress people. Zev will be here in 5 minutes, folks. He's hustling. Let me just text him back. What part of we sat down, and when we spoke about what's it called, and I told them, listen, we're going to help you out. We have some incredible people. We're going to crowdsource and put our eyes and do this. He said that is part of what the Donald Trump and their plan was, because they understood, and we spoke about that Congress, just think about it, Congress has four computers in a skiff that they're allowed to go 2 hours. They have to make it 24 hours in advance for 2 hours. They have to go in there. They're being spied upon. And most of this, think about, Congress people are not extremely computer savvy. Most of them are there for 30, 40, 20 years. They have staff. But Congress staff, also congressional staff, it's not like unlimited. Some people say, well, why don't they hire more people? Because there's no funds for that. They only have a certain amount of congressional staff. And they're bogged down by all of the stuff that Trump and their administration knew that as long as they throw all of the stuff at the wall and throw all of this, that Congress would give up eventually. And they would, because there's like, where are they going to keep looking? It's like looking constantly every day for a needle in a haystack for 2 hours. You have all these blacked out things, and where do you look? So it's because of our community, because of this community here, Substack, because Waj's followers, Eli, Zev's, mine, all of ours combined together, have, Kate Justices. I mean, if I forget you, it's not because there's just so many of us, so many incredible people that are out there doing that they literally said thank you, and I just and it's an
No,
incredible feeling.
can I just add something which was
Yeah,
a
please, please,
news
please.
that just for whatever reason, because there's so many crises, Pramila Jayapal, who is a representative of the House, she openly talked about how the DOJ spied on her because Pam Bondi was given a binder of Pramila Jayapal's searches while she was at SCIF, right? Because you go to the computer,
Yeah.
like you said. So she's like, they were spying on us while we were in SCIF, looking at our search history when we're looking at the Epstein files, and then they printed out, someone collated it, and then gave it to Pam Bondi. And then Mike Johnson kind of apologized for it. So the DOJ spent its time and effort spying upon them when they were at SCIF, looking at their search history of the Epstein files, which further confirms that this is an ongoing cover-up. They're covering it all up.
Yeah, it's beyond, it's beyond. And then we always talk about the cover up is beyond. Don't worry about, let them do their thing. It's all about, this is a family watch. It's all good. This is part of independent journalism. I love it. Mike, that's why you see I'm outside. This is the only piece. If I go inside, you're going it's like open the door, like, what I'm saying to you. Watch, if you have to go with the kids, I got you, brother. I understand you've been.
I got a one kid that just left. I have another parent that's picking up two kids. No, hold on. And
Yes.
Lorette auntie said come home because she's sleeping. So come right now. Okay, come right now, girl. All right, we're good. Now we're good.
Yeah.
Thank
See,
you,
this is.
Josue, Mia. Bye, guys. I had like
See,
nine.
I love it.
So now we're
I
back down
love
to
it.
my core three. No,
I love.
one more. We have an extra neighbor kid, so we got four kids.
Your kids are all from school also, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, yeah. So
But
it's
even
like,
if it wasn't off from school, this is my house every day.
typical, right? Yeah. Same thing here. It's like between the dogs, the kids, everybody. You got cats, I got dogs. But that's what makes this so great, and it's incredible. So Zev just texted me. He's going to be here in a few minutes. He's just getting up. He's running up. He's has to powder himself up and get ready for
But
us.
what
And
also is interesting,
yeah,
so I want
go
to
ahead.
say that
Yeah, please
what we're,
talk about the yeah.
what we're seeing about the cover up, folks, I think this is important. And I think this is why it's important to keep the pressure up. Because what we've seen since 1996 was, according to the Epstein files, guys. Uh,
Yes, Waj found this cat. Go ahead. I was answering. Yes.
1996, according to the what we found in the Epstein files, the Farmer sisters were the first time they ever
Yes.
told the FBI that this man could be a pedophile. So if you do the math, that's been 3 decades, right? Then you see Vicky Ward. Vicky Ward said she wrote an article in 2000, 2001.
Yeah,
They
Vicky.
removed, she says, Vanity Fair, under threat by Epstein, removed the mention of the pharmacist, became like a puff piece, right? Then you see 2007, 2008, Alex Acosta, who later becomes Trump's labor secretary, gives a slap on I mean, just every time you think about it, it should infuriate you. There were about 34 survivors. They had him dead to rights. Epstein should have been in jail forever. Instead, he
Yeah.
pleads guilty to 2 counts. They make this a deal with him, this sweetheart deal that no one's ever been given. They completely exclude the survivors who had already, if you will, bared their soul and kind of exposed themselves. He gets a 13-month sentence, folks, where he stays out of jail for 6 out of the 7 days and continues raping girls. Okay. Then you have
Continues.
literally, then all these files come out, and this guy, all these powerful people are still partying with him. Now it's implicating billionaires, Bill Gates, Steve Bannon, Ehud Barak, Israel, Russia, Harvard, MIT, scientists, right? Like models, even. Apparently, people are asking Naomi Campbell, what did you know about it?
Uh,
Melania Trump. Donald Trump, who's mentioned more times than any other person in the Epstein files, right? So while this is happening in Europe, if you haven't been paying attention, folks, heads have been rolling. In the UK, they've already started criminal investigations into Keir Starmer's government. Keir Starmer, this guy's never met Jeffrey Epstein, and his back is against the wall.
Yeah.
To sacrifice his chief of staff. He's had to sacrifice his ambassador to the U.S., Lord Mandelson. And they're like, you were friends with Mandelson, and Lord Mandelson lied about the deep ties that he had to Epstein. That reflects poorly on you. We're doing criminal investigations into Lord Mandelson. And now we find out that Mandelson in 2008 gave sensitive information to Epstein, right? So that's what's happening in the friggin' UK. What we found out I don't know if you found out just today, uh, French police raid Paris Arab World Institute in Epstein-linked probe into Jack Lang. All right, so now you got the French police on Monday searching the Arab World Institute in Paris in investigation to its former head, France's ex-culture minister, Jack Lang, and his ties to the late financier and convicted sex offender, right? You got people losing their jobs. You got, someone in Norway lost their job. I mean, we are seeing heads roll, and you're also seeing them raid Twitter, right? And they've summoned Elon Musk, right? Because Twitter is straight up using its AI to send straight up pornography. I don't know if you've seen it, child pornography, right?
Crazy.
They're like sending nudes, creating nudes of girls and women. Meanwhile, tell them what's happening in the United States.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there we go. Look at that, Zev.
So sorry.
Yeah, I love it. Zev shows up like it's like on Star Trek. Zoom,
Oh, does it? I didn't know that. That's
You
interesting.
just think of feel like at Star Trek. I want to do a shout. Thank you, Zev, for joining us. He's been very busy running around, but he has this incredible breaking news story. And thank you so much for coming, join. But before you just jump into it, I just want to say one thing to Waj, just to finish it off. I want to give you some major props, my brother, because I went back and took a look at the interview you enjoyed with Hakeem Jeffries, and I want to just give you a hands up, man. You pushed back. You did exactly. That's what I'm talking about. No sugarcoating. No, you did exactly what you didn't just come out there. You said you pushed back on him. You demanded for him to come up, and I'm proud of Joy. She stood back, let you do your thing, and it was good. I'm saying we need more of that. We need more accountability. So I just wanted to give you a shout out.
That was great.
That was great.
And the funny thing is I gave him a softball down the middle.
You did.
All the sauces. I hand delivered it to him, and he still effed it up, guys.
He still did.
I had to go back and reread that twice. I was like, wait, does that headline say what it says? Because it was so stark. So good job.
Yeah. Yeah. So Zev, I'm going to tell you about the crazy stuff to catch you up to speed later about, just before you go, do you remember name by name of Alexander Smirnov?
Yeah.
You remember that was the spy, the Russian spy, the FBI informant?
He was arrested and then disappeared or something.
Oh, he is missing, and we hear Trump's going to pardon him. But we already spoke. I'll tell you offline about that. Give us some of your breaking news, because we were waiting to hear this Howard Lutnick stuff, because this is huge.
Well, Zev, before you do, you literally entered while it was a perfect setup. But the timing was
perfect.
Where you were talking about how heads are rolling in Europe. There's actually some accountability, but in the United States,
zero.
Zero accountability, and also it appears to be a cover-up. I mean, there's these two documents where this is way back when they were vetting Howard Lutnick for the position of Commerce Secretary. There's a division of the FBI called Ares, I think, and or something like that, and they go ahead and ask other departments of the FBI if there's anything worrying about, any red flags about any of the candidates. And it turns out there were two red flags on Lutnick, which was significant. I mean, they weren't just like little things that he may have done. One was money laundering during his 9/11 fundraising efforts and charity efforts at Cantor Fitzgerald, which was, he lost a lot of staff that day, but and had made that a big piece. Now it's alleged in this whistleblower complaint that this was fraud, and that the money was actually sent to him and not to the victims, which is kind of stunning on its face as well. But the more worrying thing is his ties to Epstein were flagged and ignored. I mean, there wasn't even a response on that one. It was just ignored. So the FBI investigated a complaint around Epstein and Lutnick, or didn't investigate, got a tip on the investigation, and then didn't actually follow it up with any investigation. They just let it slide. But this was a whistleblower who had worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, who obviously knew some things, alleging that there were interactions, potential financial crimes between Epstein and Howard Lutnick, involving financial crimes that also involved J.P. Morgan, which we know already is implicated in a lot of Epstein nonsense. So it just goes on and on and on. The president hired somebody who's should have not been hired, because that's a person who's that close to Jeffrey Epstein should not be in the proximity of any president of the United States. You would think. I mean, normally.
This president is different. He's in the
Yeah.
he's in the files even more than Lutnick. So it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's okay.
Exactly.
So it's a different story. But quick question: you found this in the Epstein file, Don?
I found it in the J-Mail Epstein files, which is slightly different, but it is based on the same Epstein files dumps. That, they're basically categorized. I don't know if you've been to the J-Mail thing where they've got.
I have not. No.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Just my question to you is: has Congress seen this? Like, do they have access to this? Is this something that's been published? Because I think that you're breaking this. I don't think nobody's.
Yeah, no, it is. It's new. It's in the DOJ files. I mean, I verified the actual existence of the document after I found it in J-Mail. So it's in there. And I published the full files at the bottom of the article, and it's all free without a paywall. So people can check it out and read it themselves, plus the whistleblower complaints. It's all there. And it is new, I think. I've not seen it anywhere else. It's incredibly concerning, obviously, because when you start matching all these nodes together.
I'm sharing it right now.
Sorry?
I'm sharing it right now.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I think
thank you.
It's one of these stories where you're just like, how could they avoid explaining
Well,
this? It's so bizarre to me.
It's part of the cover-up, just like how did Jared Kushner in the first administration get past his test. He failed it the first time, and then I remember Trump just said, "Give it to." You know what I'm saying to you? That's it.
Literally, Jared Kushner did not pass his appearance, and then it was like
Trump,
and then MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the brutal dictator of Saudi Arabia. I love this quote. He bragged that I have Jared Kushner in my back pocket. And I always want people to remember why this is important, and why Zev's piece is so important, which we just shared right now, where it's an exclusive, where the FBI knew about Howard Lutnick and Epstein and did nothing. A classified vetting document reveals the Bureau flagged Commerce Secretary Lutnick in 2 active case files, including the Epstein child sex trafficking investigation, and cleared him. Is because Jared Kushner was the one who went to Saudi Arabia before the coup, the Red Wedding coup.
Yeah.
Right.
He leaves Saudi Arabia. Right after he leaves Saudi Arabia, MBS does the coup, takes over. What's the first country that the Trump administration visits in their first administration? The first foreign
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. After the first Trump administration, who gets $2 billion from Saudi Arabia to start his business? Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner.
It's unbelievable. It just goes on and on and on. And it's everybody, as we're building out this map that I'm doing of all these nodes, it's all the same players over and over again. But Lutnick he's more than just a little bit compromised. The fact that he went out there and he said he only spent an hour doing lunch at the Epstein Island is just bullshit. It's the biggest load of bullshit you can imagine. There is a lot of contact now. There's emails, there's business relationships, there's these alleged frauds and alleged financial crimes involving Epstein and J.P. Morgan. I mean, that's huge. He's the Commerce Secretary of the United States. Now, even if these are not proven, they never investigated it, so it couldn't have been proven. But these were allegations made by Cantor Fitzgerald whistleblowers. These are not just people, by the way, who are risking their lives sharing this kind of information. It's not the kind of stuff you would just share lightly. It's serious allegations.
And he's lied. And furthermore, folks, Lutnick has lied. He's been caught in the lie. He's still Secretary of Commerce. The only person who I think whose head kind of rolled was Pritzker, who's
Thomas Pritzker.
Thomas
Pritzker. That's good. Good. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Thomas Pritzker. Also, Catherine Rumler, who was the top at Goldman Sachs. Disgusting. If you read the Rumler and Epstein.
Uncle Jeffrey.
Yeah, Uncle Jeffrey. But folks, she resigned on Friday a full week. For a week, Goldman Sachs didn't fire her. For a week, there was no resignation, right? And then today, Pritzker steps down. And then there's one other person. Who's that Hollywood guy? with that agency, Wasserman. I'll get it for you in a second.
Yeah.
I think it was Wasserman, but there's also
Casey
the
Wasserman,
Olympics.
CEO of the
Casey
Washington
Wasserman.
Media.
Casey Wasserman. Yeah, Casey Wasserman. Yeah.
And
What
that's
what happened?
so Chappelle Ronan and a few other celebrities are like, if he's going to be there, I'm out.
and there's Europe. I mean, Europe is firing people left, right, and center.
Europe.
They've arrested, a former prime minister in Norway, and here we have a president who's potentially compromised, a Commerce Secretary is potentially compromised, and others we assume are going to show up. Michael Cohen, by the way, is the more you look at Michael Cohen's involvement, it's serious. It's not just he got Katie Katie Johnson wrong. There's a lot of connections there. I think I counted 618 emails with Cohen and Epstein's name in them. So,
Excuse me, wait a second. What did you just say? Hold on a second. You repeat that for a second.
I'm still working on the story, so it's not out yet. But there's 618 emails that mention both Epstein and Cohen, and Cohen also knew Lutnick. Cohen knew Lutnick from way back, like 20 years earlier. So he's involved there too. Everywhere you look, it's always the same players, and Cohen is one of them. It looks like.
Wow. No, I mean, that definitely, some interesting, interesting. I don't watch. It's like, holy shit! Like, I didn't think it was 600.
I mean, it's one of those things, folks. That you mentioned it, Zev, and we said it also. The cover up. I think that should be underscored. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Because even Ro Khanna, when I had him on, I think it was 2 weeks ago, or maybe last week. Every day feels like 1,000 years.
Right, it's crazy.
He said, it was last week. He said, if you would have used the word cover up, which is what we've been using since the summer, just if we may toot our own horn because we are not paid, and we very rarely get "I told you so," and even when we do, it's nothing good happens. He said, if you had told me in the summer if it was a cover up, I said that's too strong a word. Now that I've seen what I've seen, this is a cover up. Congresswoman J. Paul, same thing. She said it's a cover up. And what we're seeing right now, folks, is in Europe, they're flexing because, their Justice Department isn't compromised. Here, folks, the Attorney General is clearly compromised.
Yeah.
Pam Bondi, her sole job is to be the defense attorney of Donald Trump and to prosecute any all critics. I'll give you an example just to infuriate you more, because I think people need to be infuriated because the level of sustained rage and all of us doing our job and the fact that it's everywhere and the fact they can't escape it, that's the reason why Pritzker stepped down today. That's the reason why Wasserman stepped down. That's the reason why Rumler stepped down, because they all waited a week. Like, maybe it'll die. Maybe the story will die, right? But it hasn't died. And so that's why we have to be on it, because these people thought they could escape. And right now you have the Trump administration doing everything in its power to, like, Donald Trump has said it's time to move on.
I keep saying that. It's that's not happening.
Did he say it today? It's time to move. We got to move on. And then also
every time he says that, something else drops. That's the crazy part. Every time he says that, something big comes out.
Wasn't it Blanche, his personal attorney, who said last week he went to Laura Ingram's show last Sunday, not this Sunday, but last Sunday, and he said partying with billionaires isn't a crime. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to right-wing media, folks, because I pay attention to them. They're getting closer and closer week after week to essentially, they're this close to now defending pedophilia. They're this close.
They sometimes are when they talk about 16 is okay or 15 is okay. I don't know.
I mean, like Megyn Kelly, Alan Dershowitz, Kelly. They're like 17, 16. Like, it's crazy. It's like it's like even 18. Like, I mean, just because this is the sick part, folks. I mean, they're trying to justify the age by months. She was 17 years old and 10. These are children.
That was Dershowitz.
That's Dershowitz. My daughter, she just turned 19 years old. She's a baby. Like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I can't even. I mean, it's just sick when they talk about.
I agree with you mostly on that, but I mean, it is illegal at here in Canada. The legal age is 16. And
okay, it's legal. No, I understand it's legal.
I mean, there is a legal divide, and I think we need to. I think the thing is that they're if they're breaking the law, they're breaking the law.
And also, Alan Dershowitz lied. Julie Brown responded to
right. That was exactly.
She said the victim was not 17 and like 10 months. She was 16. And like you said, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, especially when it's not just one. it's a repeated pattern of behavior of preying on girls and trafficking them. And the fact that and furthermore on Dershowitz, another one that people might not know, because I think he's all up in it. And Ellie is I unleashed Ellie on Dershowitz. So I said, Ellie, and she goes, I got you, Waj, give me a week. Dershowitz also, while he was in the cabal, right, he's in all the photos, he tried to lower the age to 14.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He said, this is just arbitrary. Why is the age 16 or 18? It should be down to 14.
You know, I heard that somewhere. You know, it's just beyond sick. But listen, you know, there's a reason. There's an old saying, you know, that my mom used to tell me: "Tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are." Who you associate with, who you are, and that's why it's extremely important. We're seeing in the Epstein files, not just, you know, it's very important to the difference between, you know, somebody taking a picture like Michael Jackson because he happened to be Epstein, paid money to be at a concert, and he decided that is not being in the Epstein files. What's being in the Epstein files is what you're seeing, like Howard Lutnick. It's a perfect example. You're seeing over the years, you're seeing a pattern. You're seeing first, he came on and said, "Oh, I would never." So he's acknowledged that he knows that this is a creep. He acknowledged he knows this is a bad guy. He sat there and told you that me and my wife, I'll never forget, I swear, I have it in front of me. Me and my wife looked at each other. We gave each other that look. And when we looked at him and said, "Oh, this guy's creepy. We're never going to be with him." And then you are, you know, doing business with him. Then you are having drinks with him. Then you are visiting his island. And who says that? And I think you mentioned that, which is very important. Is you know, investigators look at body language. Investigators look at these little things. You know, I've learned that over the years. And it's interesting how he mentioned when he said, when we left, I took all the kids with me.
Yeah.
All the kids left me. He emphasized it. Did you hear that? Like, you know, he was emphasizing, like, he took like who does that? Like, you know, usually you're like, you know, here, yeah, we left or whatever. But he like persistently went into it to like explain that. So, you know,
the depth of the lying. Yeah, it's just insane.
Email, remember, folks, in his email a week and a half ago, who puts the ages of each of their kids? That's what Lutnick did. He like put the age of each of his kids, and I think it's the Roy Cohen method, right? Deflect, 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 deny, 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 attack, attack, attack. And I know that's what Barry Weiss believes. And I don't know if you have seen the latest news. CBS quietly decides to retain Dr. Peter Attia.
Did see that? Yeah,
contributor
unbelievable.
to Epstein fallout.
Hey, by the way, one of our incredible volunteers just sent me the actual the FBI intake. I think you have it in your letter. Do you
yeah, I think so. It's in there to the bottom of the letter. Yeah.
Okay, so let me read it to you. It's in, if you guys could see it, if you go read Zev's letter, I encourage everybody, if you haven't, make sure everything we're talking about. But I'm going to read you the intake of what we're talking about. This is in the FBI letter. This is exactly what's written here. So, folks, first of all, says Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein child sex trafficking, right on top. Case number 50D New York -3027571. Very important. Case number. One of the things we keep asking Michael Cohen about. Give us a case number to Jane Doe. You see, there's a case number so we could do investigation. I just wanted to mention that. And then it's blacked out who it's drafted by. Why, we don't know, because that, you know, but it's drafted out. This is October 19, 2020 at 12:11 p.m. Eastern Time. And here are the details. On October 19, 2020 at 11:43 a.m. Eastern, okay, blacked out, so-and-so, date of birth, so-and-so, blacked out, cellular telephone number, blacked out, email address, blacked out, address, blacked out, called the FBI National Threat Operations Center. So this is a person that called the center to report a whistleblower information about Howard Lutnick, the CEO of blacked out, who could be connected to Jeffrey Epstein. The person's name, blacked out, provided the following information. Blacked out was calling from the United Kingdom. Why is this person blacked out? We don't know. So somebody from the United Kingdom is blacked.
It's a whistleblower.
Oh, that was the whistleblower. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whistleblower was calling from the United Kingdom, but stated, okay, worked in New York from 2015 to 2017 for blacked out, who acted as blacked out. After, and this is the important part, after witnessing some financial irregularities, the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, was Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, and he believes some of the suspicious financial activities could be related to Epstein's case. The whistleblower says that BGC does a huge amount of charity work, which relating to the 9/11 because of Cantor Fitzgerald lost many employees that day. But he thinks the charity day is fraudulent. The whistleblower has documentation he is willing to provide to the FBI to back up these claims.
Wow.
And there's two whistleblowers. This is the
Yes.
second of the whistleblowers. So it's not, one whistleblower could be, you could question that. Two whistleblowers, well, that starts to be more difficult to question, especially when they're under so much threat. One of them claimed he was given a heart attack by Cantor Fitzgerald. I don't know how you do that, but that's what he suggested. And this allegation about this charity is very serious. They were raising money for the families of the people that died.
This is sick.
And apparently Lutnick was just pocketing that, or a lot of that himself.
Gosh.
And I'm just started investigating that. I haven't gotten the full thing yet on what was going on in that day, or charity day they held, which is such a huge thing for them. But for him to steal money that's dedicated to the victims who in his company who died during 9/11 it's just, it's just the lowest of the low. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that.
He, folks, again with Lutnick, and I think if you just focus on Lutnick, there's enough threads there. And Zev, you did a fantastic job. Just a reminder,
Fantastic.
Howard Lutnick, billionaire, piece of shit, Trump Secretary of Commerce, who still has his job, refuses to resign. He lied. He said that he cut ties with Epstein in 2005. But we found out from the Epstein emails that nope, he was actually at Epstein's Island in 2012. He also invited Epstein to a fundraiser for Hillary Clinton in 2015, and the two discussed construction plans for a building near their homes in Manhattan in 2017. And Epstein contributed to a philanthropic dinner hosted by Lutnick in 2018. Reminder, he was arrested and died in 2019.
Yeah, Epstein gave him $50,000. It's this was not obviously a friendship that ended many years earlier because they were disgusted by the massage tables. This was a partnership, a business partnership, a friendship, and a neighbor that lasted 25 or something years. And we have the record, and there's allegations now that he was involved in criminal activity with Epstein.
But have you noticed it's the same? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Finish.
And no investigation. No investigation. The FBI just did not launch an investigation.
And he's still there, folks. And the reason why is, if you notice, again, going back to Roy Cohen, and you know this, Lev, with Trump, it's the Roy Cohen model who was.
He won't give you a win.
And that's why. And I know Barry Weiss follows the same model. We're never going to get canceled. We'll show them. We'll double down on the racism, on the pedophilia, on the everything. We'll just double down on it. But the last thing we'll do is cave to the libs. So which is why CBS has still retained Atia, which is why they've still attained Lutnick, and they're all going to go down with the ship. Because if they actually, admit a mistake, they can't do that. I mean, even goes with immigration. There was no removal proceedings for Kilmer Abrego Garcia. ICE, remember, folks, ICE admitted that had been a mistake, but this administration was like, no, we'll just come up with some bullshit and we'll ruin this man's life.
Remember the knuckles? The knuckles, MS-13 knuckles. Remember, he had MS-13 on the knuckles.
Yeah, they made it up. They just scrolled it on there.
The president of the United States made it up. That was the crazy.
Yeah. Under any circumstances, any of these things, just like stealing money from your charity, would be enough to annul your appointment as the Secretary of the Cabinet. But there's like multiple things that are piling up for Lutnick.
Because Trump did himself.
He's perjuring himself. These are all serious crimes that he's doing over and over and over again, and nothing's happening. Nothing at all is happening. I mean, it's just another stain on this regime that is clearly so criminally compromised that every single person is just covering up for each other because they're all involved. I mean, Pam Bondi the other day, that was insane watching her refuse to look at the victims of these crimes, refuse to actually have people in the DOJ talk to the victims of these crimes. and then, blaming, starting attacking Congress people for petty, smaller crimes in their neighborhoods compared to this monstrous cover up of this huge human trafficking ring that she and her boss and everybody else is involved in. And, she walks away and, thinks she's scored some sort of victory. And no one is criticizing her. I mean, people are criticizing her, but not internally in the regime is Massey. I thought was really good yesterday, and it continues to surprise me how impressive he is in terms of just going after this regime and her as well. He's called for Bondi. His resignation yesterday was very good, I thought.
I love Zev. He has such a good heart. He really wants to believe, and he's like, why is nobody? Because it comes from the top, Zev. I keep telling you, because the president. Because just think about it. Why does anybody care if Howard Lutnick stole from a charity? Donald Trump stole from a charity.
Exactly.
Donald Trump, so all of these, birds of a feather flock together. That's why, I say to you. So, and, the crazy part also, and I agree with you, you just think about the narcissism and the pattern that you're watching play out in all of them. They all come out, and the way God works, it's a mysterious way. They all come out and they all say, we have nothing to do with, starting with Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Howard Lutnick, you name it, and it goes down the line. We have nothing to do with Epstein. Boom, all of a sudden, here you go. Here's some more. Here's some more. Here's some more. Oh, it gets even worse. I mean, it's so obvious already that all of these people were not just once or twice companions. This was the Epstein class. This was a class of people that looked the other way, that cared about money, finances, or sexual privation, whatever it is. But they're all, like I said, I had my other shirt on today. They are all in the loop. Oh, by the way, Zev, I want to give you some good news. Before you came on, Waj said that there was some breaking news. I don't know if you know the reporting that you and Ellie did, and I passed on to Congresswoman Crockett today. And about an hour and a half ago, they opened an investigation. Can you say what happened with the Zoro Ranch?
About an hour and a half ago, New Mexico approves of a comprehensive probe of Epstein's Zoro Ranch. There's a bipartisan committee to investigate Epstein's activities. Epstein chartered flight for New Mexico gubernatorial candidate Gary King in 2014. Investment consultant says he met MIT Harvard professors at the ranch. New Mexico lawmakers today passed legislation to what they said was the first full investigation into what actually happened in Zoro Ranch, where the late U.S. sex offender Epstein is accused of trafficking and assaulting girls and women. The bipartisan committee will seek testimony from survivors of alleged sexual abuse at the ranch, located about 30 miles south of Santa Fe, the state's capital. Legislators are also urging local residents to testify.
Wow.
That's a really big story. The more I dig into Zorro and what was going on there, there's strange scientific experiments that were going on there. The victims who don't remember where they slept, they were so drugged up, they don't even know what happened to them. There's allegations of buried bodies. There's people being flown into there from Eastern Europe, wherever it is, that were picking up these kids, and they never returned home. These were, and it's one of the survivors that told me the biggest thing about that place is the rattlesnakes, and it's completely remote. You can't go outside because there's so many rattlesnakes, and they're terrified to run. And even if you did run, there's nowhere to go. It's just completely remote. We showed some pictures on Five Stack a few weeks ago where there's just it's in the middle of nowhere. And it's completely controlled by Jeffrey Epstein. And this is government-owned land that Epstein somehow got his hands on. And now, of course, we know that the GOP representative, or the family of the representative, state representative, I think, is working in the White House. And
Don
the current owner,
Huffines, Texas businessman and politician, former GOP state senator from Dallas.
That is not a coincidence, obviously, that he owns that giant, huge piece of property where there's allegations that people were buried, and obviously that they own it because they're doing something with it, or they're cleaning it up, or they didn't want to. I don't know. Who knows what he was doing?
No, but also, everything you said, like maybe last year we would have said this, people like, you all are crazy. Experiments, birthing. And now we know from his emails, from the allegations, from what we see as evidence, which of course isn't conclusive. And then you see literally Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, and you even saw the Daily Telegraph talk about eugenics and race science. This came out just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
This is what these people were into, right? They wanted to seed what they thought was the genetically superior human being, and Epstein wanted to seed the future of humanity through his sperm. And then we have, Ellie's been going through this diary
Mhm.
about this girl who said that,
Mm.
she was trapped here, basically raped, and then impregnated, and then she remembers they removed her baby. She never saw the baby again. So like, you sit there and you go, that's crazy, Zev and Waj and Lev. And then you read their own emails. And then you see
Yeah.
all the acolytes, the billionaires who were part of this cabal, like the Teals and the Elon Musk. And you saw, folks, go look at Elon Musk's, don't believe us. Trust the evidence of your own eyes and ears. Go look at Elon Musk's tweets from January. Nearly every single day, this man has tweeted about white babies, white replacement, white population,
Mhm.
Crazy.
like openly, like just white civilizations. Go read Epstein's emails, go read Peter Thiel's emails. This is what they are obsessed with: eugenics, straight up race science. So is it out of the is it crazy that, I don't know, Levin, Zev, a notorious pedophile who somehow stumbled into millions of dollars, who had access to JP Morgan and Ehud Barak and Russia and party with everyone, could have used one of his many properties to not just rape girls and traffic girls, but also perform his weird, terrible, horrifying eugenics.
No, it's
Eh, eh, eh,
completely
eh,
it happened. It happened. Obviously, it's happened because that's what all the survivors who were there have reported it. There's eyewitnesses who've told us that it happened. They had these weird submarines as well. They traveled in submarines, so people couldn't notice people arriving. I mean, why do they need submarines? I mean, there's eccentric billionaires, but then you add eccentric billionaires to crazy scientific experiments with underage girls, and you're thinking, why do they need submarines? It's not a good look. It starts adding a very dark, sinister, trafficking on a mass scale kind of image of what's going on there or what went on there.
And don't forget, they from there, this is where the QAnon theory came. Also, remember they they did it, and then they pushed it on the Democrats because some
Yeah.
of the stuff that they were doing and experimenting and doing actually. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that. My phone was ringing. Some of the same stuff they were pushing on to the Democrat stories. Folks, I know it's getting late. I know Waj has a full bunch of kids. Zev ran home to specially join you guys today because of this breaking news, and he probably has groceries to unload or some stuff like
He's
that.
gonna make
So,
dinner right here that I'm dying to eat. I can smell it.
he's starving. I can see him. So so.
Can you see this? Well, I mean, just before you leave, TMZ, which, by the way, when TMZ breaks stuff, believe it or not, TMZ 2 hours ago, Jeffrey Epstein may have had a collection of highly poisonous plants known to produce a drug that blocks free will in its victims, according to newly discovered emails in the latest document out of
Wow.
the Epstein files.
Well, that
Wow.
explains what the victims were saying. There's an
Right,
article.
just what you just said.
There's an
And
interview
also
with
breaking 1 hour ago, breaking, Hillary, this is what the world we live in, folks. Hillary Clinton has accused the Trump administration of, wait for it, a cover-up over its handling of Epstein files. On her upcoming deposition before the Oversight Committee, quote, "We have nothing to hide. We have called for the full release of these files repeatedly. We think sunlight is the best disinfectant." That's from BBC an hour ago.
Wow.
It is a cover-up. There's no doubt about it. It's one of the biggest cover-ups and one of the biggest crimes in history.
In the
This
world,
is
yeah.
as serious as it gets. And it's happening in real time. We're watching it happen right now as this government is lying about everything that went on with Epstein and covering up for it. I don't know where this ends, but it has to, there's a lot of action that needs to take place in order to stop this right now.
Absolutely. And before you guys go and shamelessly, like Waj says, promote yourself, I do want to say, and somebody put it here, how sick it is that, Massey's out there fighting, knowing about Donald Trump, and then he goes and votes for the Save America Act. It's
Yeah, of course.
insane. You can't make sense of that. You know what I'm saying to you?
This is who he is. This is who he is.
It's just
It's weird.
It's so weird. It's like he knows. Anyway, well, that's for
I
another
mean,
day.
presumably his life is under threat as well by the same
That's what
people.
I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yesterday was saying I'm not suicidal.
Right. Yeah, and
So-
that that they're putting billions of dollars to and then all of a sudden you go anyway. I just had to mention that because when I saw that, I was like, anyway, Waj, Zev, please shamelessly, like Waj says, promote yourself because I really appreciate you guys coming in at this time. I texted them. I said, when I saw Zev breaking the news and I had my breaking stuff about that, I said, Waj, come on in, let's go. Let's get together. So I appreciate it. Our community appreciates it, guys. Go ahead. Tell us where everybody could follow you besides hitting that Chiron, which is the easiest way.
Should I go first? I'll go first. Go to narrative.org, narrativ.org, and you can see my reporting and investigations on Lutnik, and there's a lot more coming. There's a couple of things in the pipeline around Michael Cohen that is going to blow you away. So there's a lot of documents in the Epstein files related to Cohen, and we'll be unwrapping those in the next few days. So that's all at narrative.org.
Wow.
Left Hook, everything's free, no paywalls. If you want to become a subscriber, I have a 25% off special for this month. It's $3.75 a month. All of us are independent. If you have some money, give it to Zev, give it to Lev. If you have $3 left over, hey, send it to the Left Hook. If not, just subscribe. It's free. Tomorrow, it's a really good show. At 1 p.m., we have reporter Roger Sollenberger, who really is going to talk about this victim that implicates Donald Trump. And Lev's going to join as well. And then at 2 p.m., we have Virginia Heffernan, who's going to talk about the connections between Epstein, the Edge Foundation, and all the race scientists and eugenicists.
So good.
Yeah, and she knows because the head of Edge Foundation was friendly with her, and once she found out what she signed up for, she backed out. So she did a great piece on Verge. And then at 3 p.m., we'll have Jess Craven as well talk about how Democrats need to be more bold. So those are going to be really good, especially if you're interested in the Epstein files. Virginia wrote a really good piece in Verge connecting all the dots, and Roger has a great piece out connecting the dots with the latest reporting as well. So it'll be 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
Check that out. That's really good.
I just want to say, folks, I mean, just that alone, if you were to go just watch that show for one day, you would pay more than $3.25. And so what I just want to say, the type of reporting, independent journalism you're getting, I mean, the breaking stories, Zev, Ellie, Waj, Dean, my son Aaron. I mean, this is true independent journalism, folks. I'm telling you, I was in D.C., I was speaking to the Congress people, and they're amazed with what the crowdsourcing, what this independent journalism, like every day, the breaking news, it's coming from each and every one of you. So please, folks, continue to support independent journalism. If you like what you hear, give them a paid subscription because it goes a long way, not only by supporting, because we do this full time, but also this is how the algorithm works. So if you want that person's news and you want that information and you believe in that, help by becoming a paid subscriber, the algorithms push it to the top and more people get to see it. So it's another way of getting into it. And all of us have some incredible special things, except for Waj. Everything's free on Waj. So his is completely, but Zev, myself, and others do some stuff for paid subscribers. It's a little bit more, but folks, besides that, please sign the Epstein petition also. We have almost 30,000 signatures. We've added more names to it. It's a simple petition. All it says is we want to start subpoenaing some of these people that you're hearing about, like Lutnik, like Cohen, like Wolf. And by the way, before we go, I definitely want to just tell you guys this thing I've been finding about Wolf, and because I was going to touch on it a little bit, and then we'll talk about maybe tomorrow some more. But Waj and Zev, and sleep on this. But I spoke to a very prominent New York attorney. So I'll tell you because I was interested about the SLAPP law. And the way, because of certain things, certain people were threatening us with lawsuits. So I said to myself, let me speak to a prominent lawyer. Maybe there's a way I could use the same thing that Michael Wolf did and be able to use that strategic slap suit to be able to go after a person that threatened to sue me, to be able to get that person to get deposed. So we went to this really prominent attorney and we got a consultation, and this prominent attorney happens to know everybody from Michael Wolff to everybody involved. And we had this conversation. And he said to me, he goes, Lev, why do you want to do this slap? So I said, what do you mean? I said, Michael Wolff, I think that's an ingenious idea he had. Just think, because he's going to go out there, he's going to get Melania and finally put her under oath. He's going to depose her. He said, how is he going to do that? I said, well, the way I'm understanding it is he's going to right now, he can't serve her. But once he decides where to serve her, then, she has to, explain why she had to sue him. He goes, no. He goes, that's not how it works. I said, what? He goes, no, that's not how. I go, can you explain to me? He goes, I've been doing this for over 50 years now. Let me explain to you. First of all, what Michael Wolff is trying to do is almost impossible. He goes, he's trying to actually use a loophole, not a loophole, or he's trying to set a precedent of basically trying to get a case dismissed. Because what a slap suit is basically is getting your case dismissed and getting your attorney's fees. That is what is the what's it called, penalty for there's no deposition, there's no lawsuit. The case gets dismissed and you get your lawyer fees. I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, so if tomorrow Wolff serves Melania, and he goes, so if a court, let's say Wolff serves Melania, and the court goes ahead and says, okay, Wolff wins. This was for Wolff, basically the damage, it was automatically, the case gets dismissed, meaning Melania can't file a lawsuit against Wolff, and she has to pay for his attorney's fees. So then I turned around to him. I said, but wait a second. He just raised almost $1 million for attorney's fees.
Sounds shady.
What happens to that money? He goes, well, you're going to have to ask Michael Wolff. So I'm going to leave it on that because we're going to I'm going to find out some more about this. This is what we're getting to. But it looks like this whole slap lawsuit and all this whole fiasco that was Michael Wolff started, it doesn't look like there's actual accountability there. It looks like, and we're going to get to the bottom of it, but this is some more stuff that we're looking into. I just wanted to share with you guys that just happened by accident.
and he's never responded back to me. I invited him twice to come back and talk. Never has.
Yeah, he's gotten very quiet. Very, very quiet.
Very weird. Very weird.
I might be wrong. I'm still researching it. This is the first, I was not on the phone myself. I had another person there with me just in case if I was hearing this correctly. Jay, she's our volunteer. She's here. She's actually found a lawyer. We were on a conference call together, and I wanted to say it 3 times to make it clearly that I understood it properly. But he did say that he's going to research it a little bit more. he goes, even though I've done this for 40 and 50 years, he's going to research it a little bit more and come back and hopefully we could come back to you and start holding Michael Wolff's feet to the fire. Because if that is true, and if that is the case, what I'm looking at is total fraud then. And I'm looking at then, there needs to be some major accountability that has to come from this whole thing. So that's what I'm saying. But anyway, I want to thank you guys. I want to wish you guys a great night. Tomorrow's another big day. We have a lot of things to cover. Everybody out there, before you go hit that Chiron up there, hit subscribe to all 3 of us. We're only getting started. And if you like what you hear, become a paid subscriber. Not only does it help us do what we do and stay independent, but what most importantly, it also helps with the algorithms. And thank you guys for coming.
Thanks,
Have
Liv.
a great night. Take care,
Thanks for having us on. Cheers. Bye, everybody.